Enjoy lunch? Did you clean? Did you clean your plate? You all are wearing, most of you that pre-registered are wearing these wonderful name tags. These are cleaning devices. They were done with care and love. They were designed by Suzanne here. And the person who was making them is Lisa, but I don't see Lisa. Where is Lisa? Lisa's not here during her moment. That's interesting. Okay, I'll be doing this again then. I wanted to thank a few people. I think gratitude is one of the most powerful things to use as a cleaning device. Living in a state of gratitude is a miraculous experience. And I spend time almost every day in my hot tub. And in that hot tub, I am giving thanks. And it is a powerful, all-encompassing, sweeping tool that just goes through my life and erasing a lot of things that I might not have given thanks for. But I start with thanks. And I want to thank people like Mark Ryan. Mark, stand up again. Mark did the introduction. Yes. Mark and I are friends, business partners. We have wonderful talks and journeys together. We've come out with Subliminal Manifestation DVDs that was an inspired product which has made a phenomenal amount of money for us. We've done 4 DVDs now. But I wanted to thank him for being my friend, for being here. If you notice in the front of Zero Limits, it is dedicated to Narissa, and it is dedicated to Mark. Thank you, Mark. I love you. Thank you. I also want to point out we have some celebrities here. Craig Perrine, who has been running the mic and just quietly not saying anything about it. And of course, I want to thank Dr. Hulen for coming here because he travels all over the world. He was just in Japan. He's going to be traveling some more to actually get him to put this on his calendar and both of us be able to wedge out the time to do this is a very big deal. And I love him. He knows I love you emails to each other. Apparently mine still get through because he's not allowing all the emails to get there anymore. But thank you for being here. And then come on back up.
Blue bottle, and I'm going to show you how to make water. As you drink the water, it'll clean the data. Yeah. So how do we do this? So I've already talked about how, and now I'm going to talk about why. And so ultimately, we're going to talk about E, which is the I. So I've done this. And now I'm going to talk about the water. So what you want to do is you want to get a blue bottle. So it's a blue bottle glass. It must be glass. It cannot be plastic. If you're in Los Angeles, the Los Angeles people would ask, what kind of blue, Dr. Hulen? Does it have to be dark blue? How about light blue? Well, any kind of blue. And what you need is a source of light. So I'm going to use this as a source of light. So you need a light. And the light can be either sunlight or an incandescent lamp. Why can't it be fluorescent, Dr. Hulen? Okay. So now what you want to do is you take a bottle. It doesn't matter the size of the bottle, and you have the blue bottle. The cap on the blue bottle, it must be plastic. It cannot be metal. Why is that, Dr. Hulen? Okay, so now what you want to do, and this is a hard one for the people from Los Angeles. The next one is you have to fill it up with tap water. Yeah. Why can't it be bottled water? Well, okay. So where did all this information come? It came out of zero. One day I was walking, and then he said, I'm going to show you how to create a water that when you drink, it will erase data. And all you have to do is to drink the stuff. So what you do is you get a blue glass bottle, and anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour, you put it under a light source. And then you use it, and it's very simple to use. Watch me. I have to demonstrate this. Watch. First of all, you undo the cap, and then you just take a swig. That's it. And as you swig it, here's how it works. So I want to show you how the mind works. I'm going to talk about the question, who am I? So the mind consists of 4 elements, and they're very simple. You don't have to remember this. I just have to put it on the board because the intellects like to know this stuff, you know? Otherwise, we'd run out of time. Yeah. So here, I'm going to draw you. So the question is, who am I? Who am I? So first of all, we have to go to the source, what I'm going to call divine creator. This is the source, what the Hawaiians call omaka. This is the creator in you. So that's it. This is who you are. You're part of this creative process. And then below the creator is a superconscious. The super C. Some people call it spirit. The Hawaiians call it the aumakua. Aumakua. Aumakua meaning across all time and space. We'll come and we'll review this. And then the other thing is the Christians will call this Holy Ghost. So there are different names for it. It doesn't matter. All you have to know is you got one of them. Yeah. Yeah. If you don't have one of them, that means you're dead. Really. So I need to let, so it's a superconscious. Now one of the things you'll notice is that divinity is carving your identity out of zero. So 0 here, 0 here. Then the next level down is called the conscious mind. Consi. Okay? That's the consi. Now, there are different names for the consi. If you read psychology, it'll tell the mental or the intellect. The Hawaiians call this uhani. Well, they have different names. And then the one here is called the subconscious, the sub-C. So who am I? I am divine creator, superconscious, conscious, subconscious mind. Made originally from 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Meaning at 0, I'm perfect. I don't have to do anything. I just am. I am. Then what happens is that because you're 0, the first sound you heard in creation, the very first sound, is the breath of the divinity called the Ha. Divinity breathing into you, what the Hawaiians call the breath of the divine. So it breathes into you. The inspiration comes down. So it comes down spiritually, mentally, and physically. Now you're lined up. See? No goofiness, no nothing against God. Now you're lined. As long as you're lined up, you're fine. You get it like Joe, Vitaly, anybody just get exactly what's right for you. The wonder of it all is that everybody else will get what's right for them. As long as you're getting what's right for you, everybody else will get it like. As soon as you get goofy, that is, you lose that and you go into chaos. And the chaos is always the memory replaying in the subconscious. This is the computer bank. Then the conscious mind gets hooked into that. Then you're stuck. How come? Why? I thought I was good, and you just go on. And it's called babbling. So we're always babbling, but we're stuck in the data. So now you decide you want to be 100% responsible, and now you realize you have 2 choices. Only 2 choices. Only 2 choices. You can hang around with the divinity, or you can hang around with chaos. This is called chaos. This is memory is chaos. So you have a choice. Now you're stuck in chaos. Suffering, misery, blame, you name it, you got it. So you're stuck there. Now you decide to be 100% responsible. So this part of you, called the conscious mind, has choice. It can stay hooked or let go. Most of the time, it's stuck in 15 million pieces of data and over here 15, and it's thinking, it says, I know. Okay, no, but you decide to clean up your act, so you say, I love you. As soon as you say, I love you, something wonderful happens. You don't have to say anything else. I love you. Immediately, the energy, the flow goes from the conscious to the subconscious, automatically. It never goes this way. I'll give you an example. I was doing a class in Valencia, Spain, and there was an American at the back of the room, even though it was being translated in Spanish. So the American raised her hand, and she said, I had a grandson, 5 years old, throat cancer, died. I prayed. How come he died? How come he died? Well, I said, you prayed for the wrong person. Can I say that again? I said to her, you prayed for the wrong person. You should have been praying for yourself. What's going on in me that I experienced my grandson with that problem? So she was praying for the wrong person. So now, let's assume we're her, and let's assume this is her grandson. That means if the grandson's stuck, she's stuck. The Hawaiians call this aka cord. That means it's a pull, the jerk, like that. So now you're both stuck. But we keep thinking that's the problem here, when the problem is over here. So now you decide you're going to be 100% responsible for whatever's going on. You don't know what it is. I love you. Energy goes up. Immediately it goes up to the superconscious. Just goes up. It just does it automatically, because that's the way the universe runs. Then it goes up here, and you're saying to the divinity, I want to make amends for whatever's going on in me that I experienced my grandson with throat cancer. Well, divinity's got to respond. I mean, I can't imagine divinity would not respond. So now the energy comes down. This is called mana coming down. So mana coming down, this is called mana. We'll go over this. You'll get it. In fact, you don't even have to get it. You just need to know how it works. And then it goes down here. And then it goes down here. And what that mana will do is it will erase this. Erase this. Erase this. Not only that, it will erase that. Erase this from the grandson. Erase that. Cut the ties. They're both free now. So the grandma is free. 0, 0, 0. Grandson is free. 0, 0, 0. Now the grandmother gets what she needs, because it has to come straight from the source who created the grandmother, and then the source will give to the child what's perfect and right for the child. And everybody else in the universe will get what they need, to the whole cosmos. So whatever comes off of you will come off of everybody. But you have to be 100% responsible. So any questions about how it works when you say, I love you? Going once. Yes, yes.
When we ask what's going on in me, is there an expectation of an answer?
No, the only reason I'm saying that is I'm doing it rhetorically. You don't have to say that to yourself. But since this is a training class, I'm saying I need to know what's going on in me. That's all I'm saying. But you don't need to do. Just do you say I love you. Since this is a class that I'm teaching, you have to know the reason why you're cleaning, because you're saying what's going on in me I would like to make amends for. Yeah. Anybody else, please? Yeah. No, you have to take a mic.
Oh.
Can you stand up, please?
To know who it is that you're cleaning, you know you're cleaning yourself, I.
Yes.
What comes to mind is whoever. So I'm cleaning myself.
Yes.
With that whoever in mind.
Now you're cleaning whatever is in you that you hold of the other person or the situation.
Kia ora.
Yeah. No, don't, not yet. So now, let's say you decide you're clean. Whatever comes off of you will come off the whole cosmos. Will come off of Mother Earth. Now, one of the problems with Mother Earth, the reason she has the problem with the temperature rising has nothing to do with carbon dioxide. It has to do because everybody's pissed off. Yeah. I guarantee you, as we begin to be 100%, Mother Earth will be fine. Because whatever comes off of us will come off of Mother Earth. Yeah. That's how potent you are when you're 100% responsible. When you're not, you're a pain in the butt. Yeah, Mother Earth suffers. I want to tell you, Mother Earth suffers. And Mother Earth suffers, you're all going to die. We don't clean up our stuff. Mother Earth is going to suffer and die on it. And you know what's going to happen to us. Yeah. And we deserve it. If Mother Earth goes up in flame, we deserve it. Yes?
So no matter how loud the other voices are shouting?
What voices?
Oh, critical, crap.
You're talking about crap in you.
Crap in you.
Yeah.
You just keep saying I love you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but what happened if you...
Sometimes I'm saying I love you and it's still screaming.
Yeah, do I need to mean it? Do I need to... all that stuff. But see, you got the same problems like the rest of us. We're full of bullshit. Yeah. Yeah. Now, what you need to know also is you won't hear the voices that are 50 million per second. You won't hear them. Yeah. And I want to let you know it's only 15 million per second, but there are billions and billions. Just 15 minutes come up. 50 millions come up per second, but there are billions just going whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah. Yeah. So the idea is if you save your butt, you'll save everybody else's. If you don't, I don't care how smart you are. If you're not 100% responsible, you ain't going anywhere, and you'll take all of us down. You'll take all of us down unless somebody's willing to clean. I am. I'm not going to wait on anybody else. You know that everybody, nobody, somebody, not me. You know, anybody else? Right there.
Hello, my name is Simone, and my question is in regards to what constitutes the time that it will be healed or clear. Is it 2 or 3 years?
No. Who would you ask that? You're asking a question, but who would really know?
God.
Yeah, so how come you're not asking God? What?
Well, you're in front of me.
I know, but see, you're blaming me. You're blaming me. You're blaming me. I'm in front of you.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm saying to you, now we're going to shift this afternoon, because you get to ask the divinity in you who has all of the answers for you. And you'll get a very different answer than our friend here, Joe. You can ask the same question, different answer between you and Joe.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm saying to you, clean up, let the divinity do it for you. Yeah. Anybody? Now remember, here's what we're putting up with. We're putting up with doo-doo. This is the question, see? And we're all, I mean, I have to let you know, in places, for example, and I'm saying I'm okay with it, but if you're asking questions, you don't know those questions have an impact on a woman trying to give birth in Africa. You'll make it harder for her because you're jerking everything around. So please jerk so we can get out of the way. But really, everything that goes on in you is going everywhere else in the universe. And if you're hooked into it, a woman who's giving birth will have a hard time because you're stuck in it. So who was the question? Yeah.
Hi. So you said we can just say the words.
Say what words? Be clear now.
When we're cleaning and clearing.
What word are you saying?
I love you.
Yep, that's all.
Do we need to say, I'm taking responsibility?
No, you didn't hear me say that. I said just say I love you.
But I did hear you say you need to take
Yeah,
responsibility.
but that's what you thought you heard. Didn't I just say you're going to clean? Just say I love you? Yeah. That's all I would say, is I love you.
Okay.
Yeah. Anybody else? Now you get to clean with this. We're going to be all stuck. You cannot believe how serious this is. We're working on, this guy's asking questions has to do with Alzheimer's. That means stuck in the stuff and can't get out. The people who have Alzheimer's don't have the problem of memory. They can't get out of the stuff. They can't get out because we're jerking them around. Yes?
It's a personal question to you.
Yes.
I was wondering, when you first started learning to clean, after a while, did it take a discipline to remember to constantly clean? I'm sure I'll be cleaning for months and months and months on a regular basis, but I worry about it.
I'm going to show you how you can do it even while you're sleeping. But I can't get to it unless you guys let me sit me free from all the questions. But I can show you how to do it while you're sleeping. But if I have to put up with all these questions, we're never going to get to it. Yeah.
Nothing more for me to say.
Thank you. So I want to let you know it's very serious when you ask a question. You keep everybody stuck. I just want to let you know. This is not trying to understand something. This is about letting go. So if you're into trying to understand it, you're going to keep the rest of us stuck. Really. I mean, you got to get down. You think asking questions is just kind of, rhetorical. It isn't. It's serious. Yeah.
This is definitely about trying to understand.
Yeah, I know.
When you say, when I clean something in myself, it's cleaned in everyone else, is there a collective consciousness that has to clean it from the...
What the hell does that mean, collective consciousness? Define for me what collective consciousness is, so I will be able to answer that.
What I mean by it is there a certain number of
No,
people...
don't ask a rhetorical question. Define for me what is collective consciousness.
Divinity in all of us.
I'm saying to you, no, that's not what you're asking. You're not asking that question. What are you asking?
I'm asking, does it require a certain number of people to be cleaning on the same
That's
issue?
the intellect talking from Los Angeles. All it takes, one person, you. That's all it takes.
Has there ever been a problem that's gone away and
Well,
not come back?
Has there ever been a problem with you that's gone away? See, now she's thinking, so we're all stuck. She's trying to grasp it. I mean, I'm not trying to be hard on her, but this is serious business now. So she's trying to think, but she's stuck like us. She's thinking, I'm watching her. She's trying to know how to answer that. But we're all stuck. Some baby being born now will have a hard time because they're stuck in the data. So do you know what collective consciousness is? Who can define for me what collective consciousness is? Nobody. You all have a different definition for that, which means you will have a what? A discussion. And the discussion leads to what? More crap. Really. So I'm curious to know from her what she means by collective consciousness. Because I'm going to tell her what I see it is and how it works. I want to hear what she has to say since she raised her hand, and I get a chance to clean with it.
What it means to me is the part of us that we all share.
And what does that mean?
We're all a piece of God, a distinct piece of God, and so we're all connected.
Is that what you thought she meant?
Collective consciousness.
No. Just did you hear what she said?
Yes, I
Yeah. Is that what that's what your sense of collective consciousness is?
No, I heard different.
See, now we're going to get pull and push, and you will be responsible. Really?
I'm sorry.
Yeah. But I'm saying this is how it happens. All of a sudden there's a pull. Now another thread pulls, and everybody's pulling, and it'll go nowhere. So the idea is that when you were all created one family. What does that mean? You were zero. No boundaries, no thinking code. Look at that, zero. No fighting, no armies, no nothing. Perfect harmony. That's where I'm trying to take you, but we're gonna dawdle. Now's our chance, I mean, I'm willing to clean, so let's get the stuff out of us. Do a spiritual animal, Yeah. Let's lose it. Yeah. Please, yes. Our Cuban friend over there.
So this is more of a comment than a question then. So is it safe to say that more crap, right?
Yeah.
Because the universe, if we clean ourselves for everybody else, it's because the universe only exists within us.
Yeah.
And so if you clean yourself...
Wait. Did you hear that? Now that's a beautiful definition of consciousness. She's saying to herself, the universe is in me. Wow. Now talk about clarity. I love that. She must be from Cuba, yeah? Only people who are clear come from Cuba, yeah? Ooh.
Well, I wasn't really born there. My parents are.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. That's it. So then all of you are actually...
In you.
Me.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So watch this, how beautiful. So God is in you, and you are in God. So when a memory comes up, it's in all of you, and you're stuck with it. But now, all it takes is one person to do the cleaning. It comes off her and comes off all of you. How wonderful. If we can be 100% responsible, which is hard to get to. But all it takes is one person. We don't care if the rest of us sleep. As long as one person is cleaning nonstop, the rest of us will be fine. You'll be fine. I tell you a story of my daughter. She was 7 years old. She's 32 now, so she was 7 when she first took the class. And she slept through the whole thing. She was snoring away. I have to kind of gently pinch it like that, but she slept through the whole thing. And so one day we were home, and I was about to get in the swimming pool. So I had going like just about, and she said, 7. She said, "Dad, remember what that old lady said?" I'm going, "What old lady?" "Dad, remember what that old lady said?" And I said, "What did the old lady say?" And she said, "The old lady said, before you get into any body of water, you mentally put in an Alka-Seltzer pill. Just mentally put it in. Dad, I'm going to do it for you this time, but you're on your own the next time." So the story is, even when you're sleeping, you're going to get it. So my daughter was sleeping when Morna was teaching this course. And she just slept. Thank God she slept. She didn't have any questions, Yeah. And the other thing is, you can take this course as an absentee. If you do, we will have no questions. Yeah. So let's go over it again. So in the beginning, there was nothing. Nothing. You need to know this. Nothing. No wars, no thinking, no coping, no managing, no intention, no goals, no nothing, 0, 0, 0, 0, and this is where we want to go. We want to go back to the origin. This is the origin of your being. 0. And so I'm going to take the mind and turn it around sideways now, so you get to see the mind sideways. So here's the mind sideways. And this is 0. So I've taken the board and put it this way. So this is 0. This is you. I want you to be clear. You as 0 do nothing. Can we say that again? You as 0 just is. Like this. And then when God goes, hello, you go. Now, when the data plays called memory, you go, But when the data plays, so I want you to know, data is king. Data is queen. Data governs. You are not in charge. When the data plays, you follow. So I'm going to give you a reference if you want to take a look at it, called user illusion. Joe Vitaly? Where's Joe? Joe, can you explain the kind of the stuff where we're talking about we don't make decisions, please? So I'm going to ask Joe, but here's a book called The User Illusion. And ultimately, the consensus, the summary of this the work on consciousness is you don't decide anything. You don't decide to get sick. You don't decide to get cancer. You don't decide all that. It's decided for you. So maybe Joe can tell us a little bit about it.
I'll try. This is a fantastic book. Can I hold it up for a second? And I do reference it in Zero Limits. So some of you, how many have already read this? The User Illusion. Some of you wouldn't get it. It's absolutely fascinating because it's pointing out that what you think is in control, your conscious mind, your intellect, your personality is not really in control at all. And in fact, there have been some tests, one of them by Benjamin Levitt, who did a test that pointed out that when you have a decision to reach for something, like I'm now reaching for this Pepsi can, that conscious decision actually began on a below conscious level. When it entered my mind, I took credit for it, and I said, oh yeah, I'm going to reach for her can because right now it feels like a great example of how I'm consciously controlling my circumstances, and it seems like this is a good thing to do. All of that took place before it was in my conscious mind. First of all, that's pretty eye-opening in itself. That what you think is your intention. Now, I'm a guy who's taught about the intention. I'm in the movie The Secret talking about the power of intention. I've written books about the power of intention. I now think intentions are old news. I now think intentions are a fool's game, and intentions in many ways are limitations. So first of all, if I have an intention for something, it bubbled up out of something deeper than my conscious mind. If I take credit for it, that's the user illusion. I think I own that. I think, wow, I came up with this wild intention for some business, some product, some book. That wasn't the case at all. It came from something deeper. The real question for me that gets very interesting is, where did it come from? So if an intention, an idea, a thought, actually this is one of my favorite things to do. I ask people to stop for a moment and consider, can you predict what your next thought is going to be? There isn't a single person who can. Those thoughts are just bubbling up. Where are they coming from? If you take credit for them, you've fallen for the illusion. If you sit there and wonder where they're coming from, which is where I think is a good place to be, then you end up wondering, did it come from memory, programs, data, or did it come from the divine as inspiration? And at that point, the only thing to do, and believe me, this is all I'm left to do with, is to clean. I'll give an example. When I was going to be on Steve's TV show, we rented a car and Narissa drove because I wanted to relax and be focused and save my energy for the show itself. And as we're driving there, suddenly something bubbled up that said, you should move here. I hadn't even told Narissa this because I kind of put a clamp on it. I said, I don't want to hear that. Moving costs a lot of money. It's a big energy drain. I got a lot of things going on. I don't want to hear this. The last time I was in Maui, I heard the same thing. I spent several of my days here looking at houses, which I could have been at the beach working on my tan. So, driving along, and I was in a pretty meditative space. I was very relaxed. I wasn't doing the driving. I wasn't focused on that. I had already met Steve. I was comfortable with Steve. So it was just a matter of going over there, doing the song and dance in front of his camera. So the thoughts are bubbling up. If I take credit for the idea, oh, I got this great idea. I should move to Maui and I can open a business here. I could move all of my business here. I could do all kind of wonderful things here and seminars here. User illusion. I didn't have that idea at all. It came from this depth. My question for myself right now is, did that come from inspiration? Or did that come from the program that was thinking Maui is a cool place to live? You know, year-round beautiful weather. I mean, there's all kind of rationale, all kind of logic I could use. So the only way for me to remedy that right now is, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. Constant clearing till I can say with some sort of degree of certainty that that was an inspiration. That help?
Maybe they want some questions.
Question about that? Yes. He's going to bring a mic to you. This is a wonderful book, by the way, The Use Your Illusion. It is at Amazon. Some bookstores will carry it. The author, I can't pronounce his name. Torrey Tranders, Norret, Randers. E-R-S. I would just look it up by the title. The user illusion.
We'll leave it out for you to take a look at.
David has a question.
I'm David, okay. So I'm getting that inspiration and trash both come from the divine, and I have a choice?
That's an interesting question. You know, one time Dr. Hulen and I were walking, and I was talking to him about the idea that, wow, it just seems like all I have to do in life is pay attention and make a choice between trash and inspiration. And he said, if you're still at a point where you can make a choice, you're not clear. Now that really hit me between the eyes, because what it meant was, if I'm thinking about moving to Maui, not moving to Maui, it means I'm not clear about what was coming through. If I am clean, if I am clear, and inspiration comes, I just do it. I just do it. There is no real choice at that point.
So
Thank you.
Let me answer that question. I'm coming from zero now. This is David. This is you, zero. Okay. This is zero. Zero does nothing. That's what zero does. It just is. So let's say I got the mind side. If you've got trash in front of that, in other words, if you got data calling suffering and problems right here, going like that, and this is the divine cannot get through that because that's going against zero and against the divinity. That's what trash will do. It goes counter to zero, okay? So now my friend Joe Vitale is talking, and he decides to be 100% responsible. So he erases the trash, and now there's no opposition. And divinity can flow so that now divinity replicates itself as an idea, as a talent in you. So you have a choice of hanging around with trash, which is old memories in the subconscious. This is old memories in the subconscious. So the subconscious here, like that. So it's sitting on top of the zero. So now you decide to clean it up. You erase the memory. You allow divinity to erase the memory. Now you're back to that pure state, and now divinity can come out. So the inspiration always comes from the divinity, not from trash. You know? And the trash is like this. Okay, this is the three cells. This is the conscious mind, subconscious. This is the trash, stored in the subconscious. That is not inspiration. It's old stuff. That's what Shakespeare called for bemoan moan. It's going to keep playing again and again unless you decide to ask the divinity to erase it. Now here's where the inspiration comes. The inspiration comes from zero. In other words, there's no blocks, and now the inspiration comes down. So inspiration always comes from the divinity. Trash comes from the storage in the subconscious.
I'm still thinking about it. I don't know where the trash comes from.
You put it there.
I have power to put it.
No, you did put it there. It's stored now because of the eons and eons and eons. Now it's stored there, and as long as it's stored there, it's going to play. So you show up in this lifetime, you meet the same people, and then you have the same fear, like that, you have the same physical problem. It's old stuff. So now you decide to let it go. You allow divinity to erase it. Now you have new information come in called inspiration. Brand new, never given before. Never, never. It's an absolute new information. Okay, so any questions about how to do the solar water? Yes? Yes? You need a mic so we can all hear you.
Could I pour it into here?
On the website, it said you could put it in plastic after you've done
After
it.
you make it, yes.
And you could pour it in your bathtub and
Yeah.
water your plants and
Yeah.
brush your teeth.
Yeah. What happens is the way we do it at our house, because we drink gallons of it every day, is we have several gallons of water that we've taken out of the tap. So all I do is just do one bottle, and I take one, put one drop in each, and then the whole stuff will be solar. All it needs is one drop. Yeah. So if my grandchildren come and visit me, visit me, you know, they take baths. I mean, by the tons. You know? When you have teenagers, wow, they're always taking a bath. You know, guys. So they know how to use the soil water. Just put one drop in the bathtub. You know. You have coffee, one drop. You eat ice cream, one drop. Yeah. I have a grandson who loves ice cream, just one drop. Yeah. Yeah. So you can use this in any way. There isn't nothing. Whatever you use water for, you can use it for. Yeah. Okay. Now you're clear now, because I'm never going to come back to this. You know? Yeah.
Can you put it in before you cook, or would it
I'm
change?
sorry?
If I were to put a drop of water and I were to cook something, would it make that water just...
If the water is solarized, all it requires is one drop in anything.
Oh, anything. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. Divinity just makes it easy, you know. As the old Hawaiian saying going, easy does it. Easy. So any questions about this? I can let this go? Okay. Somebody's calling me? We're okay? All right.
Raise your hand.
The invisible lady. Okay. So we got the ha. We got the ha in there, and we got the y. Ha. And I'm going to take you to that. And y. E. So now all you have to do is say Hawaii, and that's the cleaning process. So ha means the breath of the divine. Water means the water of the divine. So now you got a double combination when you say the word Ha-wa-i or Ha-va-i. So before I enter the room, I will say Ha-va-i so that I get cleaned up and I come in peace. If I'm going to eat anything, Ha-va-i. If I'm going to pick the telephone rings, Ha-va-i. I'm never going to listen to something on the phone without cleaning. After I put it down, Ha-va-i. So you're not stuck with that data that plays somebody's annoyed and irritable. So as you put it down, I'm saying Ha-va-i. So any questions about the use of Ha-va-i? Yeah, me too. It's easy. Come to me as a child, God said. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to take you to the breathing process. You have to have both feet on the floor. Because when we breathe, we're going to breathe from Mother Earth too. We want your back up gently against the chair. Because we're going to breathe for family, relatives, and ancestors. We want to breathe and go back and hunt down any error so that our children's children will not be stuck with it. Okay? So you got both feet on the floor, back to your side. And then what you want to do is, here's you. This is the pointing finger. You know how your mother goes. Yeah. My mother was very good at it. Yeah, and then you got your thumb, which is the E in Hawaii. Without your thumb, you'd have a hell of a time trying to do anything. So now, excuse me, I'm going to give you my pointing finger. Yeah. So the pointing finger represents politics. This is a politics that says you've got to do it this way. You cannot do it this way. So what you do is you're going to combine it and then make a figure 8. See? This is a figure 8, and then just drop it in your lap, pointing to these fingers like that, and drop it in your lap. Okay? So I would like for you to close your eyes. This is the political finger. This is the pointing finger. You're combining them because you want to make sure you're going to be one with divinity. Then you do it, figure 8. Infinity sign, see? Yeah. So now when we do the breathing, divinity is going to go, well, just go deep in our soul and just look for the data to clean. Since there are many of you, more data will get clean. Okay? So now you have it in your lap, so if you would close your eyes and just listen. I will walk you through one round. So you're going to breathe through your nose. That's number 1. Out through your mouth. Why through my nose, Dr. Evelyn? The reason why is a higher level of consciousness. So as you breathe in, it's going to be a natural breathing. So you breathe in gently, and in your mind you're counting up to 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or however you count. Everybody will have its own rhythm. So you breathe in, and you're counting to 7, and then you hold for 7 counts. And then you exhale for 7 counts. As you're exhaling, you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you're going to hold for 7 counts. That's one round. I'm going to go over it again. You breathe in for 7 counts, hold for 7 counts, exhale for 7 counts, hold for 7 counts. That's one round. I would like for you to do 9 rounds. And when you're done, if you would open your eyes, please. I'm going to define Ho'oponopono for you. And it's not like the guy from Ireland who came to take the class in London when he said, how do you say, is it hokey pony? I said, well, it's close. It's close. But, so instead of you're saying hokey pony, I want you to say it correctly. Because in Hawaiian, it's very important to pronounce the word correctly. Okay? So it's ho'o. This right here is an okino mark. And so it means to give that O a punching sound. So it's ho-o. Ho-o. Not ho, like Santa Claus. Yeah, so pono. Pono. So ho'o, pono, pono. And it simply means to correct an error. And an error is a memory replaying in the subconscious. So all of your problems and all of the problems of creation is in the subconscious as a memory. And this is what Shakespeare calls for bemoan moan. You've had it before. And unless you get rid of it, it will play again. So the problem is a memory replaying the stuff again. Now, Ho'oponopono has 3 elements. Just 3 elements. Repentance, which means I'm sorry. What are you sorry for? I'm sorry for whatever is going on in me, that my mother's angry at me, or somebody's angry at me, or I'm having financial problems. Something's going on in me for which I would like to make amends. So you're saying I'm sorry to whatever is going on in me that I experience as a problem replaying. So it's old stuff. You've had it before. You came into this lifetime again with it. Unless you get rid of it, it's going to come back again with you. Then the other one is forgiveness. Please forgive me. And only the divinity here can forgive you. So the forgiveness has to come up here. This is where the forgiveness has to come. And then finally, transmutation. And what does transmutation look like? So I'm going to take a memory here and show you what divinity can do. Divinity can transmute. And only this part of you can do it. The intellect cannot do it. The superconscious cannot do it, and the subconscious can't do it. So what does transmutation look like? Here's the memory, which is a problem. So now the mana comes down into the subconscious, and what the divinity will do is will take this memory and purify it. So it will begin to dismantle the memory. But the energy is there, but it's pure energy. So now it's pure energy. So what the divinity will do, it will do the next thing, pull that energy out and put it back up here in the omaka. Just pull the pure energy so it can be used again. Pull it up, put it up there. So now you have a void. Well, divinity has transmuted that memory to pure energy, pulled it up, void, and now divinity says, now I can put inspiration in there. So now the inspiration comes down. And so every time you do, I love you, thank you, drink the solar water, you do all this stuff, as long as you're cleaning, this thing will just go on forever and ever. The minute you start asking questions, you're thinking, how come, why, the whole thing jams.
Before I have Dr. Hulan, can I have one of those pens too?
Which choice would you like, sir?
Blue. Yes. I'm a blue man. Thank you. Before I have Dr. Hulan come back up here, do you have any questions that maybe I can answer for you? No questions at all. You're all at 0. We have a question over there, and we have a question back there, and looks like we have one over here. Yeah, I had a feeling there would be a question or two for me.
My question is, my mother tongue is Italian, so how would it be to translate into Italian, I love you, I'm sorry? So I could say it in Italian, of course, isn't it?
Yes, I would definitely say do that, and I would definitely love to know what the phrases are in Italian, because I think it would be very poetic, and I think that would be another reason for me to say them in a different way. So I would welcome it. I'd love to know.
I'm sorry, mi dispiace. Please forgive me. Per favore, scusami. Perdonami. I love you. Ti amo.
Ti amo is what I say to Narissa all the time. You mean I've been cleaning for 8 years and I didn't even know it beforehand? Ti amo. Ti amo.
And grazie. Thank you.
Yes,
grazie.
Of course. Thank you. Wonderful contribution. Thank you.
My friend is a nurse at a psychiatric hospital, and she would like your suggestions for raising the consciousness of the staff at that hospital so they can have some miracles for their patients?
That's a wonderful question. I'm going to begin the answer of it, but then I'm going to allow Dr. Hulen to continue it since he was actually at the hospital where that difference was made. When I was researching the book and I spent time with him, I asked him about how he went through the process of causing that cleanse in that hospital. And again, he always came back by saying he wasn't working on the hospital, he wasn't working on the patients, he wasn't working on the staff, he was working on himself. One of the things he did was, as he started in the first few days, he noticed as he walked through the halls that the walls, the paint, the building seemed very unhappy. Now that sounds very strange, but I'm used to that with him because we actually came into this room yesterday, and we came into this room, I guess it wasn't yesterday, but earlier this morning, to get a feel for the room. And we actually were looking at the walls, we were looking at the floors, we were letting it speak to us. When he was doing it at the mental hospital over there, and he was saying, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, again, just cleaning himself without anybody making any request of it, certainly not him, somebody decided to go and repaint the walls. Changes like that were being made that on one level seems like that's can't be related in any way, shape, or form. But also, as he kept doing it, some of the patients who had to be shackled didn't have to be shackled. Patients who had to be sedated no longer had to be sedated. And this was continuing to such an extent that the staff, and you got to remember, this was a very uncomfortable place to work. The staff was high turnover. People didn't want to go to work every day because when they went into the mental ward, they would often have to walk with their back against the wall because they were afraid of being attacked. Dr. Len just kept doing his cleaning again on himself, and the patients were getting better, the walls were getting repainted, some remodeling was being done, and the staff would say, I don't know what you're doing, but whatever you're doing for the patients and everybody else, please do it for me too. The answer to the question is that it was one person working on himself that was influencing the building and everything in it. And that is a good cue for you to come up and to continue that.
She could do the same thing.
I understand she can definitely do the same thing. That's the whole answer. That's the whole metaphor, if you will, is that what he was doing in one place, you can do wherever you're at. No matter what the situation, the business, the corporation, the hospital, I don't care what it is. That's the answer. Great question. You have another question for me? Way over here. Can you raise your hand again so he's trying to find the best way to get to you.
Cindy.
Nice and clear.
After your first actual interaction with Dr. E, when did you notice a difference or experience serendipity?
Mm-hmm. Well, I've always experienced serendipity, so I don't want to go and say it just happened because I was doing this work. But when I noticed some things happening that gave me concrete proof for myself that zero limits, Ho'oponopono, what he teaches and so forth, was having an obvious effect in my life, that happened the very first weekend that I did the very first seminar. And in fact, it was on the very first day. Now, I did do that interview with him for 45 minutes or so. We corresponded a little bit by email. I don't think he remembers any of it because he was doing so much of it back then. I wasn't getting anything out of it. And in fact, I had hired him by email to do some healing work on me. And he wrote back a bizarre email telling me he went to the divinity and he erased something or other and blah, blah, blah was happening in my life. I never felt a thing. And I thought, this is the guy who helped the mental institute ward, an entire ward of people? It doesn't make any sense. And so I still went because I was so profoundly curious. Plus I felt like something within me was saying, go check this out. Ever since Mark first told me about it and I dismissed it, it kept coming up. I went to the very first weekend, and on the very first day, I think a couple things were taking place. One is, by being in his energy field, I think I caught some of that. Much like a tuning fork or a up with one that's already tuned beside it, they start to go into the same tune. I started to feel like I was merging with that. I don't think I was thinking that consciously. That's how I rationalize it today and explain it today. The second thing is I really caught the idea that saying I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you was really profoundly easy. It didn't cost me anything, and I could learn to do it pretty quick. And so I was starting to do it. And at first I had to remind myself, not force, I was going to say force myself, but remind myself to keep saying it because it was unusual. So I kept saying it. That evening, I had the beginnings of a urinary tract infection. And I thought, well, shit, what's this all about? You know, I don't need this. It's going to make everything uncomfortable, and I want to focus on what's going on. And then I thought, wait a minute. He says I can clean on anything. Let me clean on this. So while I'm just having the awareness of this health problem, I just kept thinking, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. Now, keep in mind, I don't know where that little affection was starting. I don't know where it came from. I didn't care. I didn't try to be intellectual about this. I didn't play Sherlock Holmes. I didn't play my own doctor. All I was focusing on was this idea that I wasn't feeling good in that particular moment. Let me see if I can clean the problem. Next morning I wake up, it's gone. Now for me, that's a very minor, it's not like I had cancer and the next morning it was gone, but it was still enough for me to say, this stuff just might work. So that's where it began for me. Yeah, great question. Great question. I have another one somewhere back there, it looks like. Mm-hmm. She just asked, when am I going to move to Maui? As soon as I'm totally clear about Maui and what that message is all about, then then I won't have to make the decision. This decision will be made. But right now, I was just talking to Mary about it a little bit earlier, and the truth is, it was bringing up a lot of garbage in me. You know, I was really relaxed and almost meditative going to Steve's interview, and the voice, it wasn't a voice, it was a feeling that was coming up, almost seemed to be coming from the ground. And it was saying, move here. It wasn't saying you should move here. To be more exact, it was saying, come back here. Come back here. And I thought, I heard this before. I didn't want to hear this. It costs a lot of money, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff that was coming up in me, that's the data that needs cleaned. Now, as I clear it, I'll be in a place to know that, oh, the voice was really just saying that to help me clean more data. Or it'll be cleaned and I'll know, oh, I'm supposed to move to Maui. So as I stand here, I don't know. I don't know. That means I have more cleaning to do. And I am cleaning on it. There was one more question, I thought. Wasn't there one right over here? Oh, right over there. Okay.
So just so I can get clear about this. So when you say when you clear, all you're doing then is just saying to yourself, thank you, I love you, please forgive me, I'm sorry.
That's right.
Over and over.
That's right.
And that's it.
That's right.
Are you sure?
Yes, I am sure. So let me be more clear about this in my explanation. Okay, so round the clock, I am saying, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, is the new mantra that's in my head. It's the new self-talk. And yes, sometimes that skips a little bit, just like an old record player, and it'll go back into some old negative self-talk. I just bring back the new recording and I keep going. So for the most part, that's going on 24 hours a day, including when I go to sleep, because I'm doing it so much when I go to sleep. Like last night, I went to sleep and I remember I was consciously going, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. I woke up and I was still saying it. That was going on during the night. So that's on automatic, more or less. If an issue surfaces in my life, if I have a problem in business, if I have a problem in a relationship, if I have a problem with an illness, if something surfaces that's suddenly in my awareness, I focus on it. But I don't focus on it with a scalpel. I don't focus on it with some sort of microscope or some sort of computer program to dissect where it came from. I just have the awareness of, okay, I have this particular problem. As I hold the awareness of it, I'm saying, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. But now I have a little bit more focus because something's come up in my world. Maui has come up in my world about moving there. That's kind of a problem, in data terms. And so as it's come up, I have that awareness. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. Let me dissect it just a little bit more. When I say those phrases, what I'm basically saying is, I'm sorry. I have no idea how I helped co-create those programs in me. I have no idea where they came from, but please forgive me for whatever role that I played in producing them in my life. So I'm saying I'm sorry and please forgive me for my role, my unconscious role. It's the user illusion. I wasn't involved consciously, but I was involved because I'm taking full responsibility for it. So I'm telling the divine, I'm sorry. I don't know what I had to do with that, but it's here. It's in my life. So please forgive me for whatever my role was. Then I go on to say thank you, and thank you is this statement of gratitude, and it's thank you for listening, and it's thanking you for helping me, and I'm telling it to the divine. I'm saying thank you, and part of my thank you is thank you for my life, including when I call a problem. Thank you, because this is a magnificent gift. I mean, it's beyond belief the kind of gift that life itself is. So when I get into thank you, I'm moving into this heartfelt opening within myself, and I am starting to feel true gratitude. And I end more often than not what I think are the 3 words, and the only 3 words you really have to say. You can forget the other 3 statements. I mean, even though there's not that many of them, if you just say, I love you, I get to the point where I'm saying I love you, and it's moving me into a connection with the divinity, a connection with zero, a connection with the whiteboard. If I'm saying I love you and I really start to feel it, I have been saying this. You know, I opened for Donald Trump in Chicago a while back. A few weeks ago, I told you about turning them down. I finally spoke. I told them all about Dr. Hulan. I told them all about saying I love you. And it was a wealth real estate seminar that should have been closed to this. I got a standing ovation. These people were moved to tears. Narissa filmed most of it, and 6 minutes of it, the ending, is on YouTube, where you can see that people want this. They want this, and part of the ending that is moving people so dramatically is when I get into that space and I'm saying, I love you, and I'm saying I love you with this sincerity that is reconnecting me to the divine, and that divine is erasing the programs, the data, the negativity, the beliefs. And when I get to that place, I swear, folks, it's like a state of rapture. It is almost indescribably blissful. People often ask me about my goals, my intentions, things like that, and I say I don't have them anymore. That basically I live in a moment-by-moment state of awe and wonder. And that by letting go, by constantly cleaning, I get bigger and better things that I might have intended to have. My little pipsqueak of a little ego would have said, wow, it would be fantastic to have this island house of some sort. But if I let go of that intention and I keep cleaning, the divinity comes through with an inspiration that dazzles me in its colossal beauty and magnificence. And it's bigger than what Joe would have thought. So yes, all I'm doing is cleaning, but all I'm doing is the most powerful, sweeping, transformative phrases and tool that I know of to date. And you even, if you didn't want to do all of them, just say, I love you. And he is right. He told me in the first weekend, you don't have to believe it, and you don't even have to feel it. By just saying the words, you will start to feel it. You will start to go in that direction. When you hit that direction and you go towards zero space, there ain't nothing better. There was another question? Oh, over here.
It was just a quick comment. When we talk about cleaning 24 hours a day, and this is not a marketing ploy, I was not hired to do this, I promise. There's a little lapel pin that I wear, the Seaport pin, that's like the clean, erase. I'm not kidding you guys when I tell you, when I got this pin and I put this on, I don't know, I'm not going to try to figure it out anymore, and I don't care. Something started happening in my life that seemed chaotic and seemed like, oh my goodness, why is this happening? I don't want this to happen. But when you start cleaning, and I'm saying this, well, you guys are my universe, so I'm saying it for my benefit. You know, we don't control things. All we do is clean. And when you want to clean, then it's sort of like a creative destruction, if you will. So for all of those of you who are skeptics or whatever, if you see that happening, stick with it, because it's amazing. And miracles do happen in my life every single day. Since I got this pen, I'm telling you, it's mind-blowing. If not, ask Emma. We came up with this concept that is amazing. So I even sleep with it. So when I don't remember to erase, it's erasing for me. all the time. So that's it.
Well, it triggers a couple things that I want to mention. One is, I think it was the second time I did a workshop with Dr. Hulen, and it was in California, I believe. While I was there, and I was spending the weekend learning about cleaning, and I was cleaning, something really amazing to me, it was further proof, whoever asked me about the proof, this was further proof that this stuff works, is that I'm there, 2,000 miles away from home, Narissa had stayed home, and when I checked in that night to see how it was going, how our critters have been doing, what did you do today, she absolutely stunned me by telling me she spent the day cleaning my closet, rebuilding my shelves, putting up my clothes on hangers in all kind of order. Now, what's really miraculous is that was never requested. That was never on anybody's to-do list. And when I left, she said, I have so much shit to do. I have all these things to edit. I have these projects I want to work on. I got this website to go up. Never, ever did it come up, clean Joe's closet. Ever. And when she told me, it was like, how do I respond to that? I'm at a workshop on cleaning and back home 2,000 miles away. She's cleaning my closet. And I said, what gave you, where did that idea come from? She said, I don't know. I just felt inspired to go into your room and just, she took down shelves. She took planks down. She sawed new wood. She put the wood up. This wasn't just hang the clothes off hangers, This was a big project. This was like home makeover or something. I mean, this was tear down the old and put up the new, but instead of 7 days, you do it in one. She was inspired to do that while I was being cleaned, and I was doing cleaning. And the other story that I like to tell, and Bill Hibbler is in the room if he doesn't mind telling this. Bill Hibbler is a co-author with me of the book Meet and Grow Rich. And he was one of the early readers of the manuscript of Zero Limits. And I love telling this story because Bill is a very practical thinker. He's very open-minded, but he is very objective, practical, reality-oriented thinker. And he wanted to test the book. And he was looking at his mailing list at the time, and he was using the I love you, please forgive me, thank you, and I'm sorry. And he could spell it out a little bit more if you don't mind. Is that okay, Bill, since you're on the spot?
Joe, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. If you will do me a favor, I'll explain later. If you give me just a few minutes, I'll be glad to tell a story for you in a few minutes.
Absolutely.
I'll explain a little bit. It makes sense
I'm sorry
here.
to put you on the spot. He can fill it in. Let me tell you the real quick version of the story is that he did read the manuscript to Zero Limits. He did see how simple this was. It was a matter of saying, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, to whatever was going on in your life. He wanted to test it on a practical level, so he was thinking of his mailing list. He does internet marketing like me. Like I say, we've co-authored a book called Meet and Grow Rich. And he was thinking of his mailing list. And so as he's thinking of his mailing list, he's just saying, he's got the awareness of his list, the people on his list. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. Now, without doing any other marketing, without sending out a sales letter, without sending out a news release, without tweaking a website, without doing anything else, all he was doing was cleaning, he had 41% more sales from his email list when he didn't even mail him anything. Is that not powerful, overwhelming evidence? And yes, let's go over there, and maybe Bill can check in and fill me in there.
I just want to witness for a moment. I'm not being paid to say this. The first time I met you was in Austin when Chopra came.
Oh, yes.
And I heard the words, and I started using them. And I'm in a transitory. I just retired, now I'm retiring again. And I kept saying the words. And then I read the book, and I was up all night reading the book. I fell asleep for a couple hours, and I called your office and spoke to Suzanne and said, don't ask me why, but I need to be there. Now, I could not afford to come to Maui. Suzanne said, okay. And I said, save a seat for me. I have to find a ticket on an airline and a hotel. And the whole thing worked. And it worked in like 2 or 3 hours. And then the money just came. And then I thought to myself, I teach for Austin Community College GED. I teach ex-offenders. I teach the flotsam and jetsam of the human race. I said, wow, I need to bring this book into class. So I brought it into class. And for the last 2 weeks, I don't even want to tell you how many miracles have happened, but I want to share one with you because it is so incredible. Ex-offender, really bad stuff, but I love them all. He told me he had to go to court to try to get visitation of his 2 little boys. And he said, I don't have a snowball's chance in Hades. And I said, yes, you do. I love you. And I had taught the whole class. And these are adults who are trying to get a GED. And half of them can't read and half of them can't speak English. So I worked with him, and the whole class worked with him. It became a project. This, as a teacher, the word dirtbag, if anybody else in the room is a teacher, you've all had these people in your classes. We worked with him. He went to court last Thursday morning wearing a rented suit, he borrowed it from his brother. He shaved, no lawyer. His ex-wife had a lawyer with a mouth on her. He went to court, and the judge got to the point where she said to the lawyer, cool it. I want to hear what this man has to say. He just spoke from his heart. When he walked in my door on Thursday night, I knew he had won. The whole class knew it. But it gets even better. He saw me and he lifted a box of papers onto my walker. And I went outside and I'm thinking, how are you going to get this box into your car? And I was trying to think how I was going to get the box into my car. And I got to my car and there was nobody else outside, and I'm thinking, okay, find the strength. And here comes a car. I said to him, it was the same guy. I said, what are you doing here? He said, well, I got halfway out the gate, halfway down the block when I realized there's no way she's going to be able to put that box in her car. So I turned around to come back to put the box in the car for you.
Wow.
This just keeps going. I mean, I could go on for another hour about all the things that have happened. The one last thing is I have a little cousin who was 5 when I saw her. She's 38. She has 2 little boys of her own, and they live on Kona. So 2 weeks ago, I called her and said, I'm coming to Maui. Do you live anywhere near Maui? She said, well, it's a plane flight. It's this, it's that. I said, hang in there. Don't make any plans. The money materialized. They're with me here this weekend. I have not seen her in 33 years.
Well, they're here in the room?
They're here in the hotel. I got them a car, and they're visiting. We were at breakfast. We caused a problem at breakfast. We were celebrating Hanukkah, singing Hanukkah songs and playing with dreidels and things at the breakfast table. I wanted to give them a little gelt so they didn't have to bug their parents. But, I mean, this stuff is just so powerful on so many levels. One last thing. I don't have any knees. I mean, physically I have knees, but they don't operate. They don't work after a bad accident. Since I got here, and I had to get the cart because last night I thought I was going to just disintegrate, I've been speaking specifically to my knees. And I want to tell you, it works. Thank you. I love you.
You're doing it. You're doing it. Give yourself an applause. Bill, do you want to add to my story, or did I cover it? Okay. Any other questions, comments? Oh, Bruce.
I've got a question. I want this answered by you and Ihaliakala at some point. When I listen to Ihaliakala talk about cleaning and what it really means, how it affects all of us, how the sick grandson is sick in all of us, I think if I could be aware or touch it just once in a while, that awareness that they all live in me, why would I ever stop cleaning? And the challenge I find is I'm a typical human. I have a lazy mind. I don't think about that. There's nothing to remind me of that. And so I don't feel the responsibility, even if I intellectually know it. And I want to know if there's a way for me to remind myself of the responsibility that I have to the entire universe, or however that's framed.
Do you want to take that, or do you want me to? I'm sorry. He wasn't listening. You know, one of the things that I used to do, because I've heard so many people that are positive thinkers would do this, is that they remove all negative influences from their room. Mark Victor Hansen, for example, Jack Canfield, they don't allow the TV to be on, they don't allow newspapers to be on, they don't allow negativity, they don't allow gossip, no complaints, anything. I love that. I admire that. It's an idealistic way of being, and I think, boy, you are in a protective bubble when you do that. What an energy field that must be. Then I asked Dr. Hulen one time when he was in Wimberley and we were walking and visiting, and I said, do you ever watch the news? He says, oh, yes, all the time. And I said, what are you watching? And he says, I watch the worst stuff that's on TV. You know, I watch about the war, I watch about hunger, and I go, why are you watching that? Because it reminds me to clean. He invites it. Now, I am not quite at that level, and Narissa will tell you she likes to watch the steps from my office, click, click, click. She turns it to something else because she does. I don't really want to see that. But that's a way that he's reminding himself, and that might be a way to remind you. Would you like to come up and add something?
You want to tell them about your plane being late?
My plane being late? One of the stories he likes is that I had gone to a seminar that he was teaching in California. And he actually took me to the airport, and everything was going smooth. Not only there was no security line, there were no problems, anything like that. I just walk right through security, go right through the gate, I go right to my plane, and I sit down, and I'm thinking, wow, this is fantastic. I've been cleaning all weekend. My closet's been rearranged. There's nothing going on at the airport. My flight is right there on time. No problem at all until I see that the flight is delayed. And I think, no problem. I just cleaned. I just keep cleaning. And I have a book. Of course, I always have a book. I'm reading the book. I finish the book. Plane's still delayed. And I think, okay, what am I supposed to do now? Just keep cleaning. And I get the inspiration to do some writing. And I didn't have a computer. I wasn't traveling with one at that time. I do now. And I went and bought a yellow pad and came back, and I started writing. Plane was delayed for 9 hours. And I sat there and wrote a large part of Zero Limits in that airport. There were people all around me that were screaming. There was one person who was red-faced angry, like they were going to somehow pull a plane out of the sky just for her, you know, and wheel it over. Here you go. Here's your ride. Sorry for the delay. But no, that didn't happen. So they just stayed angry. You know, some people were just kind of grinding their teeth and very impatient. Some people read. They just went with the flow. Some people tried to get another flight. I was totally fine to be in the moment, and I took it like the divine, if you want to call it that, whatever you want to say was the inspirational source, was saying, you're writing this book. Again, I'm not creating, I'm just agreeing. You're writing this book. Here's a great opportunity for you to write for about 9 hours with no interruption and fresh after doing a weekend workshop. And that chapter is in the book. I don't remember which chapter it is, but that chapter I drafted, it ended up in the book. And this was an example of, I didn't complain with the moment. I didn't argue with the moment. I went with the flow. I kept cleaning, and I ended up with something that was pretty wonderful.